Hey, welcome back to Soundcheck. I'm Brent.
Hey, what's up? I'm Walter.
Glad to be here. Glad to have another episode.
I hope you're having an excellent day or night or whatever time you're listening.
I too hope you're having an excellent day.
So anyways, this is episode 4 of our podcast.
4 episodes in and we're making all sorts of improvements. I've got a water bottle with a cup and lid so that I won't spill on all the expensive equipment that's integral to our stuff.
And I just came back from the bar.
Yeah, I'm learning from each episode. I guess you want to start off with some recent listens?
So let me get my phone real quick. So recently what I've been listening to right now, I've been listening to Puya, which is a Floridian rapper. His album, The South Got Something to Say, is really fantastic. It's like obviously a rapper from Florida, but he raps over these 80s style beats, which is really awesome. And I think one of my favorite tracks is Settle Down because it has a very strong Cyndi Lauper tone to it, like a time after time tone to it. And I really fuck with it a lot. And excuse my American. The new Erra is really good. It just came out recently. I think like a week ago or something like that, or like a week ago.
Yeah, something like that.
So the album's fantastic. I absolutely love listening to it.
Yeah, I was interested in checking it out because it was self-titled. I'm always really keen on focusing on when a band releases a self-titled album because it's either the first release or it comes like really late in their discography. And I'm always interested when it comes later because it's kind of like we've refined our sound. Now it's, how do we want to, what's our stamp? We've released multiple albums at this point, but this is our stamp of like, this is our sound. This is what we're trying to put out there. And it definitely sounds like that. It sounds quintessential Erra.
Yeah.
Lots of dreamy synths and the dual vocals and chunky gent riffs.
So what I was talking to my coworker at my job was like Erra has like the same formula for every song, but damn, does it work for every song?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can tell when the choruses happen. I can tell when the solo is about to come in. I can always just expect like a sick intro and just be like, yep, they just get my attention every single time. I took a little deep dive back to Polyphia, actually, New Levels, New Devils, and I was like, I really forget how much I like this album.
I love that album.
The album's fucking awesome. So I took a deep dive back to Opeth, the Watershed album. The album's really sick.
They have a great discography. There's a lot.
Heritage was really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of gems there that, things like Blackwater Park and Ghost Reveries get a lot of attention. But yeah, what is it? Still Life,
Sorceress,
Watershed. Yeah, there's a lot of not hidden gems really, but just, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff you can dive into that's not discussed as much.
It's kind of like timeless in my opinion.
Yeah. Like
albums are always going to be like folky, mystical, eye-catching in my opinion, just like, I guess ear-catching, whatever. It's just dreamy too, very folklore-y.
Yeah, I definitely feel transported to another world.
If you guys haven't heard, new Alluvial, the new Sarcoma album's coming up soon. If you're a nerd like I am, like Wes Hosh's side project, or I guess only project, Alluvial is super sick. I can't tell you how much I enjoy the guitar tones in this album, or just the production quality in this album. It is fantastic.
Yeah, I had liked that last album of theirs that was only instrumental, and you had just told me before this it wasn't supposed to be instrumental, but I mean it got my attention more so because it was like instrumental tech death than if it had a vocalist. Yeah,
it's like actually, were you there when we saw him live?
Yeah.
Okay, we can review that real quick. So so when we saw them live, it was Wes Hosh, Keith Merrow, and I don't know what the drummer's name was. I'm sorry, dude. Side note. But during the middle of that set, Wes Hosh, he broke a string in the middle of a song, and they literally changed the string right then and there as they were playing, and he just got right back onto like playing the song. I forgot what song exactly what it was, but like, I think he bent it so far that it just broke. And I saw him recover really quick, and I was like, all right, cool. That's like an 8 out of 10 to me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was really interested in it just because it's not very often you get some like instrumental tech death. The only other example that comes to my mind, it was that super group with members of like Cannibal Corpse. They only released 2 albums.
Black Dahlia Murder. The Black Dahlia Murder cover.
Maybe. Yeah, they only released 2 albums. I wish I could remember it.
But it had like some guy from Killswitch Engage as well, right?
Well, I remember there was that metalcore super group with like Corpse Grinder and a guy from Killswitch. They were cool. I also forget what they're called. Blotted Science. That's it.
Yes. Okay. Blotted Science. They are super sick. Actually, I was listening to them. Their album, whatever, Machinations of Dementia. Yeah. I'm so mad they didn't release the second album because I really like Cretaceous Chasms.
They have an EP called The Animation of Entomology. If you want like a little more of them.
It does have Cretaceous Chasms. That's the song I really love from them. I don't know. Is that something you just bought?
No. I just used like a YouTube converter and ripped it or whatever.
Like, no. Because like I really love that song, Cretaceous Chasms. Like, As we're on the topic of Cannibal Corpse, I took a little deep dive back into like did a little discography, and I went from like listening to A Tomb of the Mutilated, The Bleeding, Wretched Spawn, and Kill, and then Evisceration Plague, and I was just like, these album productions do not hold up for the most part, but like it starts getting really good at 2003 with the Wretched Spawn.
Early to mid 2000s Cannibal Corpse, I actually really dig. Like, I don't know if those are necessarily some of the favorite albums, but yeah, starting with Evisceration Plague and
that's when it starts getting really groovy.
Yeah, Evisceration Plague, Torture. Oh, I guess that's it. But yeah, I don't know. Those 2 I really dig.
Tomb of the Mutilated is also a classic one.
Even A Skeletal Domain grew on me over time.
Mm-hmm. I guess the last one is Luton. If you guys like kind of like R&B neo soul, new Hiatus Coyote just released a new. Oh, not new. Hiatus Coyote just released a new song called "Get Sun." It is awesome so far. I'm a really big fan of Choose Your Weapon from like.
Is that an album of theirs?
That is an album from theirs. Choose Your Weapon is from 2015, and I think that's kind of like the quintessential Hiatus Coyote sound.
Cool. You've mentioned them before.
I love them.
On this.
They're awesome. Napalm is kind of like my neo soul bae. She doesn't know that.
Some of my recent listens, Rolo Tomasi, which is a band that's been really influential to mathcore, even though they're kind of more in like a prog metal sphere. They're kind of like artsy, but their latest album, Time Will Die and Love Will Bury It, I've really had on repeat. It's like melancholic metal, just dreamy synths and nice catchy choruses and clean vocals, but also it's like kind of somber, but also really heavy, kind of like black metal at parts where it gets real heavy. Another album I've listened to a lot is Converge's The Dusk in Us, their latest release, which when it came out, I liked it. I listened to it maybe 3 times or so and was like, cool, I like it. And then just sort of moved on. And we even saw them live one night during their tour. It was like a real quick show. I think we didn't even say the whole time. There was like a single song I really just wanted to hear, and I heard it and was like, cool, I'm out. But for whatever reason, I went back to it, and now I've just been fully appreciating it and listening to it more. And it's pretty much the same thing I could say for all their albums. Just like great production, very heavy. They're just consistently solid.
Oh, yes. I remember this album. I remember this because Nail the Mix did a little thing on how to mix I Can Tell You About Pain.
That was the song I was obsessed with.
Yeah, I actually really like that song after listening to that. I was like, you know, it's really tight. Really awesome. I just want to knock somebody out to that song. I actually didn't know they had a 2020 album out. Looking at their...
Is it Endless Arrow?
It is. Yeah. It's just a single, actually.
Yeah, it's. I listened to it. It's cool. It's like a.
It's a 31-minute song.
It's like an ambient drone project.
Okay.
It's just like dark ambient. It sounds like you're in a void. It was cool. I listened to it like once or twice and kind of zoned out to it.
Just like put a needle in your arm and just like.
Under Duress and Merc and Marrow are the 2 songs now that I'm obsessed on that album. They're just like crushingly heavy. And then deviating from metal, I heard it on the radio. I was real surprised by the collaboration Sonic Silk of Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars.
It's like I'm not surprised that they got together, but I'm also really surprised that they got together.
Yeah, it's very fun that they did.
Yeah.
It's such a good single. They're going to have an album come out. I think for now there's just the single that was released, but I mean that single is Liquid Honey.
Yeah, it's sex.
So smooth and sensual and sweet. It's so good.
And in the music video, you can tell like Anderson .Paak kind of like threw on kind of like a vintage vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Like had the mustache, had that whatever that fucking hat is that should not exist.
Yeah.
But he rocks it, and I'm just like, all right, you do you. You look good in it. Bruno Mars, you keep playing piano.
They vibing.
They're fucking awesome. I would love to see them live.
That'd be fun.
Speaking of live,
my last one was Churches. I was listening to them earlier. Just earlier today, I put them on. I was editing and listening to some like happy poppy music. I've always really liked them, and I just got overwhelmed with this joy, and I almost wanted to like cry tears of joy or something, just thinking about before quarantine, I was actually going to see them live, and then just thinking about soon with concerts coming back and just the joy that we're going to have and experience. I'm just so excited to like, I want to hug strangers when we're at a show.
Yes.
Like we sort of mentioned with Erra, there's a lot of new metalcore coming your way with the new Born of Osiris single, new Northlane single, and then the new self-titled Erra album.
Mm-hmm. For what I noticed with New Born of Osiris is like I've known for a bit that their bassist has left the band for quite some time, but they acquired a new guitarist, which I'm happy for because I've been kind of saying to like my friends like they need another guitarist. Like Lee cannot play those singles or like solos by himself because he does a lot of like harmonizing. Kind of seeing a new guitarist in that take kind of like puts them back on the map for me because I want to see what this fresh kid can do. I already know what Lee can do, but like I want to know what this fresh kid can do. A new Northlane. After Alien, I think they found their sound. Kind of like the new metal, like dance vibe sound. It fits so well for them. I absolutely love it. I don't see how much. Well, I can see them improving even more and like refreshing that sound to your ears. And just like I was just kind of happy hearing like that style back in the music and like in a metal context instead.
With the Born of Osiris single, it's not like an all-time favorite for me, like an instant classic, but I'm definitely interested, and I was excited watching the music video to see some new members because I've really checked out from their last 2 or 3 releases.
Yeah,
I just was not as on board. Soul Sphere, and I can't even remember what some of the other ones were called.
Soul Sphere was kind of like what they started going down, like stonks.
Yeah, it was just each album I had maybe like 2 singles maybe that I kind of dug, but yeah, as whole cohesive albums, I just was really not as on board. So it's cool to see some new blood. It was cool to see the music video and see the new members. Yeah, hopefully do some interesting new things. And then with Northlane, it's been cool seeing with each of their albums from Node, then Mesmer, and then Alien. They've each sort of they've just been building off each other, but they're also kind of their own distinct things. And I liked Alien, but I was really thrown by it just because I was super not expecting that glitchy dance vibe that I wasn't expecting it to integrate so well. And seeing it live, it was really fun. It was a really cool mixture of like high tempo dance beats with gent, and it was a better combination than I thought it would be. It was very fun.
Oh, so fun. And I actually for that day, I was at work and I was like telling my manager, I was like, hey, like food side's closed. Can I leave? And he was like, how badly you got it? It was like really badly. I'm sorry, man. And he's like, all right, just take out the trash and then like you can go. And then I yeeted to Baltimore.
Yeah, we were so excited for that show. That was a very fun one.
And then we saw Erra in Northlane that day too.
Yeah.
That was a good show. I
usually like Erra live more than I do listening to their recorded albums.
I will say, just a little side note, Northlane, I wanted to buy your merch so badly, but none of them was appealing to me.
Oh yeah, I've felt that before with bands. But yes, I mean concerts are starting to come back. Just before this, I was sifting through Instagram and I saw, unless I'm wrong, I saw what seemed to be the first metal show announced at Soundstage was Saturday, November 7th, Ginger with Suicide Silence.
I'd go to it.
Yeah, I'm not hyper crazy about either of them. Ginger, I've just never really checked out.
They're pretty cool. They're from the Ukraine.
Yeah, they seem pretty cool. I know they have a lot of clout around them, but yeah, I would absolutely go just to be at a metal show at this point. And then I think the one we're both real excited for is Between the Buried and Me at Black Cat.
I'm excited
in
for
DC,
that.
Friday, August 6th, playing the entirety of The Great Misdirect.
And then like a separate set list on top of that too.
Yeah, they're doing 2 sets. First one is like a all-encompassing discography set, and then the next one is The Great Misdirect in its entirety.
I just hope they play stuff from Alaska. And what I specifically hope for from Alaska is Selkies, because that's the first song that made me tear up. I want them to play that song.
Yeah. I'm excited for Great Misdirect because, like I'd said before, that was just the first album that I got into them from.
I think when we first met, I just had listened to the Parallax too, and like that was the album that really kind of like put them on the map for me, on top of Selkies, because I didn't I knew of them. I've heard like snippets of songs, and then I've heard singles, but never heard an entire album until Parallax 2. That's when I was like, all right, this band right here.
This is the stuff.
This is the stuff.
Proggy goodness.
Mm-hmm. This is kind of old news, but like, I guess during quarantine, Sir artist Mateus Asato, I believe he's from Brazil, actually put a statement out canceling his Instagram just because he was tired of just playing to people he's like not seeing. So I guess he actually needed like a mental break of just guitar in general, just because like you can only play to the internet for so long before you're just like you're checked out. And then like the little statement beforehand, he was saying like he hasn't touched his guitar for like maybe 2 weeks or so. It was just like, I just need to give this a break. I just can't be putting out content if I'm not actually like out there playing.
I get that sentiment. I've had during this pandemic, I pretty much have weeks on and weeks off. 1 week I'm on, I'm real keyed up, I'm real excited about things and I'm productive. And then the next week I just plummet. I'm super unproductive, not interested in anything. Mm-hmm. So that's a shame. I feel for him. I can get that. But did he delete the account? That's kind of wild for me to not just like step away from it, but to actually delete it.
He actually deleted it. Yeah. Which I was kind of sad about because I really enjoyed his playing. Like he just had like a little signature T-style guitar made from Sir, and I was like, oh, it's pretty cool for him. I'm really excited for the dude, whatever. But then eventually, like not too long after, saying that he's canceling his account.
Yeah, it's a shame. Lately I just turn off notifications for everything because I just get so tired of everything trying to get your attention. Yeah. So I would just do that. I wouldn't want to, if I had a fan base, I wouldn't want to delete stuff because of all the old archive stuff. I don't know how much stuff he uploaded.
I think he uploaded pretty consistently. But it's just like, I guess like he just wants to step away from the whole social media stuff, which all power to you, man. Yeah, it can be overwhelming, whatever you got to do for your mental health. Exactly. Solid player. Super solid. I think he was also on the Polyphia album, New Loves, New Devils. He was in Drown. Oh, cool. It was really cool. Serj Tankian of System of a Down fame recently released an EP. Yeah, so like Serj his album before that, I still wasn't that impressed. I'm sorry. I haven't really liked his stuff. I like the dude, but there's just System of a Down just seems to have so many internal conflicts between like the drummer and his political views, and then like it shouldn't be a surprise, but it is because they're a very politically driven band. But it's like actually kind of like having different political views against some stuff, especially during like the Trump presidency. And then I guess the Biden presidency, and just kind of stating his personal views. I just don't get it. Even though I haven't really liked his self-releases, I can still understand wanting to just put stuff out because, I mean, you can't be that gridlocked in a project. I'm just pulling this off the top of my head. What has it been, like 13 years or something since System of Down's released something? Like you can't just... You got to scratch your creative itch and get something out there. Yeah. I agree. And like from the new songs that System actually has put out, I was generally like, this is not bad. Like, thank you for putting out something that reminds me when I was like having my Walkman with my headphones, not in-ears, headphones on the bus listening to your music. And I was like, this is not bad for what it is.
Elasticity was the EP, by the way. And yeah, it was very strange hearing that 90s new metal style come back, or elements of it.
Mm-hmm. It's not bad. I mean, I think Northlane, like, that's what they're kind of taking off, like kind of like that new metal dancey type of vibe. But they execute it so well versus like what Serj and like System are doing. Well, System of a Down's its own thing at this point, and the way Serj is kind of like implementing it, sounds dated.
Yeah,
it just sounds dated.
Yeah, I don't know. Some bands are like, I think, kind of trying to almost do a new metal type thing again, like Vane. I think that their album kind of did. Vane. Yeah.
There's this band you should check out. It's called Meth.
Oh yeah, I have.
I love Meth.
That's right. Yeah. And I feel like there might be some others, but I just can't remember them at the moment.
It's like
Hacktivist maybe, but I don't know. They're like rap metal.
They're like rap metal, but like, all right. So from what I've gathered is bands that have just like one edgy word, it sets the tone for their like vibe. Like, all right, you got End, you got Vane, you got Meth. They're all kind of like just one strong word, and it's nails. Yes. And then you can already kind of set the tone for like how chaotic they're going to be just based on their name, like Meth, period. Like it's just crazy. I love them.
Very blunt.
Yes.
Straight to the point.
Exactly. But yeah, Meth is a band you should definitely check out. Like if you're into like, if you like Dillinger Escape Plan, you'll probably like Meth.
And also the band.
Yeah, and the band.
So we were trying to come up with what our next concert we were both at together to review, and we kind of have a chunk of time where we weren't, like 2013, 2014. I was just kind of reading them off to Walter, and he was just kind of like, I wasn't at that. So we might just sort of do some just sort of individual, picking individual bands and just kind of be reminiscing on experiences.
Yeah, just for this episode, and then I think the next episode we'll talk on like bands that we actually saw together.
More recent ones, yeah. I think my next one I had was like end of 2013, Lamb of God with Testament and Killswitch Engage, and I don't remember it that much. I think it was a good show, but I don't think I have enough to even describe it or go in detail about.
Where was it at?
Damn, I saw Lamb of God twice in the same year. 2013
was one at Ram's Head Live.
Yeah, one's at Ram's Head.
Yeah, I was there at that one.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, that was June 19th. That was my birthday.
That was that the one with Decapitated and Acacia Strain?
Yeah.
I think we talked about that one. Yeah, that was a good show.
Yeah, I love that.
But yeah, later that same year I saw them again, because at that point in time Lamb of God was my all-time favorite. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that show was at the Fillmore in Silver Spring. Oh, you know what? I do know something about this show. This was third or fourth time I saw Lamb of God, and I was in college at the time, and it was like a weeknight. I don't know, maybe it was a Wednesday or Thursday or something. So like I had classes the next day I needed to get to and stuff. So I went out that night, drove out. I think I was with a friend or two. I think one of the guys there, it was his first metal show. We were bringing him out, and I was like, all right, this is a weeknight. I've seen them like 4 times now. I'm not going to go crazy. I know what their shows are like. I'm just going to stand on the periphery of the crowd, sip some drinks, whatever. I watch Testament and Killswitch. I just stand, whatever, no big deal. But then one of the friends buys cherry bombs or Irish car bombs or something. We have like 2 or 3 of those, so I'm starting to get drunk. And then Lamb of God comes out right out the gate. I'm just like, yeah, I can't just stand here. What did I think? I was just going to stand here and like bob my head and listen? No, I just dived right in the crowd. I was there like the whole set, losing my mind. And towards the end of the set, I actually crowd surfed. I think it was the last time I crowd surfed, and I was wearing glasses. I wasn't wearing contacts. That was another incentive I had to not get too crazy. I didn't want to break them or anything like that.
That's an expensive bill.
Yeah. So I start...
Imagine like sending the guy the bill that broke your glasses.
So I start crowd surfing, and I started on my back, like facing up toward the ceiling, and somehow I got flipped around so that I was actually facing the ground, and like people were putting their hands on like my stomach in the front of me. And I saw like a circle pit ahead of me, and I was heading right towards it. And I got kind of carried, like it was a small one, and I got carried kind of like over it. I did a little hop over it, and my glasses fell off, and I just saw them go right into the little circle pit, and I couldn't see. I mean, I'm horribly blind without corrective lenses or anything.
Right on.
And so I get back on my feet. I come back around. I scurry through the crowd to come looking for it, and I'm looking for it, and this person holds up these glasses, and they're bent, and the glass is broken, and I just like pick it up, and everyone's like really bummed. They're like, oh man. And I was so pumped full of testosterone energy. I didn't even, my brain didn't even receive this information, or I just didn't care at all. I just like grabbed it and just like screamed. I was just like, yeah, like I didn't care at all. And then by the end of the set, I think when they did Black Label, they split the crowd in half and did a Wall of Death.
I miss Wall of Deaths.
And so I just remember being a part of a Wall of Death without the ability to see. Just everything's blurry, and it's just a mess of just limbs flying everywhere, and I couldn't see. And then just thankfully one of my friends drove, because just being blind for the rest of the way home, it was very strange. I went with contacts from then on. I had to get some new glasses. Yeah. Wow. I forgot about that story. Yes, there was something good at that show.
That was pretty funny, actually. Really grateful that I don't have to wear glasses. I had glasses for a short period of time, but like then like I don't know why. My vision like corrected itself at some point. But like yeah, I didn't really need glasses long term. I had like a little pair of Nintendo glasses that I got from Walmart.
I don't mind it anymore. I've gotten so used to it, and I feel like I've kind of figured out like what style I like. I forget the term for it, but I like these ones where it's a half frame, like the bottom of it so it looks like the lenses are just sort of suspended. Yeah, that's the kind I like. But I don't know. I might mix it up for the next one. I might go for like a real boxy, square, blatant like glasses look. I don't know.
I mean, you got to get like a pair of like Doc Martens too.
Yeah. Oh, and I got transitional lenses this time for the first time.
Oh,
it's cool. I like it. I thought it was going to be really annoying. Like I thought it was going to be, I step outside and suddenly it's real dark and it's noticeable, but it's a real subtle change. And also it turns dark purple when it's like out in the sun. So it's a really cool look. It makes me feel like I'm Ozzy Osbourne with his purple glasses.
Sharon!
So I like it aesthetically. It's really cool.
Sharon!
The other one I had was Periphery Juggernaut Tour.
We were there.
Nothing More in Woven War.
Never mind. Well, actually, yes. Wait, yes, I was. Wait, yes. I've confirmed. Yes, I am right there.
Okay, I'll try and find the venue. I don't remember.
Fillmore.
Okay,
It was Fillmore. So, Thank You Scientist was supposed to be played that show. I remember that for a fact because I remember my friend Alex like hyping it up for me, and I was like, "Dude, Thank You Scientist is so sick." And I was like, whatever. I wasn't into them at that point, but then like I got into them later on, which they were super sick.
Absolutely.
I've seen not Woven War, but Nothing More on a separate occasion at this festival called the Shindig that was hosted by PRS in Baltimore, and I absolutely hated seeing them. I'm sorry. I absolutely hated seeing them. It just seemed like manufactured like gent to me, and I didn't like the guy's voice whatsoever. And the guy was total sex appeal. I'm not gonna lie. Like he was total sex appeal. He had like
he always performs shirtless.
Yes.
And he's got the chiseled abs.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they've diverted more to like the arena rock scene, which kind of seems what they were more geared to anyway. For some reason, they just had a little blip where they were in the metal scene. Yeah, I really liked them for a brief amount of time. They had, I think, a self-titled album that I really liked, but ever since then, I've never kept up with them. They just really lost their appeal to me. And Woven War, I've only seen that one time.
Same. It's like the reason like I cared for them being there is because of it had members of As I Lay Dying, and it was kind of like formed after like the whole Tim LaBee's act like incident, whatever.
Yeah, it was just some sort of like I don't want to say filler content. That sounds really mean, like tossing aside what they were. But yeah, just it's like, oh, we got to do something. Like we got to still pay the bills. And
then like when I remember seeing them live, and then like the guitars from not Woven War, but like As I Lay Dying. I forget his name, but he's like buffed as fuck. He had super long hair. It kind of looked like Troy Polamalu a little bit, but like there was this one guitarist just did leads the entire time. He just looked so bored, just like kind of like filling, and I was just kind of like, I'm bored with you, man. I'm sorry.
Oof. They had a single that I was really into for a while. It was very catchy. I don't remember what it was called. Another show I had, I don't know if you were at this one, was the Rock and Roll Hotel. It was Protest the Hero.
Was not there. I couldn't get there.
With Intervals, Night Verses, and the Safety Fire.
No, but that sounds awesome. I love the Safety Fire.
I remember you mentioning before that you really liked the Safety Fire and you were bummed to miss them. They were good. Night Verses I'd never heard of before, and they were good. They had a couple songs that I was real into. Intervals was really good. I've seen them multiple times now. And then Protest the Hero, seen them twice now, both times at Rock and Roll Hotel. Both were very fun shows. They're very funny. At least their vocalist is very charismatic and silly.
It's because he's Canadian.
Yeah, just all about self-deprecating humor. Like, I think like the second time, or I don't know, one of the times I saw him, he like had like bad diarrhea or something. He just kept going on about like how he was going to shit his pants, and he was so sorry.
That's pretty funny. But yeah, actually, since we're on the topic of concerts, we can review that Juggernaut tour.
I feel like I don't remember it that much. I mean, every Periphery performance I've seen, I've loved.
It's always solid.
Yeah, it's always solid. I just don't know if I can. I think Periphery might be the band I've seen the most.
I could believe that.
I've seen them 7 times, which I feel like is a lot, and it blows me away when I hear people say they've seen bands like 20 times or something. I don't know how that's even possible, because they come to your area once. I guess they sort of
travel
follow when they're on like the coast, like they're in the region. They'll go to like 3 shows. I don't know how they do it. I don't know. So I see them I see a band like twice a year when they come to the area.
Right.
But yeah, Periphery, seen them 7 times. That's the most, I think, of all the bands I've seen. Yeah, I can't quite distinctly remember that show, considering I've seen them 4 times at the Fillmore.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you, to be honest, like 7 times.
Like, I can remember Ram's Head when they were playing a lot of P2 stuff.
Yes, this tour is personal.
And I remember Soundstage, because they were playing P3, and I remember
they were all, well, I saw them before that too, because they were playing their Icarus EP stuff live too, like,
yeah. And then the Electric Factory, because that show was just amazing.
Yeah, the Electric Factory. Now Franklin Music Hall. Such a sick venue. I absolutely love that venue a lot. I can never give them a bad review.
Yeah, I'd love to go back.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, like, I give that Woven War show with like Nothing More. I'm mad also about the name too, because like it's just too close to one of my favorite bands, Nevermore. So hearing Nothing More and Nevermore, it's just kind of like,
is Nevermore a post-hardcore group, or am I thinking of something else?
You're thinking of something else. Nevermore is more of like, I wouldn't even say death metal, but like they're more closely related to death metal.
Okay.
And we talked about Cannibal Corpse earlier too. The original guitarist for Nevermore was Pat O'Brien. Then he switched to Cannibal Corpse. So Pat O'Brien moved from Nevermore to Cannibal Corpse.
That's cool.
It's really cool, because Pat O'Brien really shines out Cannibal Corpse a lot, especially like in Wretched of the Spawn. I love that band. I love that song, that album specifically. I think I can give that specific show like a 7, just because I didn't care for the first 2 bands, and like the headlining band really like saved that show for me. Like, actually, that's probably like the only reason why I even went there. Thank You Scientist would have been awesome. I would have given that an 8 if they actually showed up or something didn't happen to them, you know?
Even before I was into them, I think there were 2 instances where they were supposed to play at shows and then weren't able to make it. And so then it worked out that when I finally was aware of them and liked them, I was able to see them.
Right on. What would you give that show?
Probably like a 7, and most of the weight being pulled by Periphery.
I agree.
I mean, I did like Nothing More at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in retrospect, just sort of my takes on what I would think of like Woven War and Nothing More. I just haven't even thought about them in so long. So really just there for Periphery.
Yeah, I think it's solid 7. With like the weight being pulled by Periphery is like unanimous. And this is a 7 out of 10, by the way, just to like put it out there. I mean, like, if you heard like the episode before this, we basically let you know our scale is rated from like, venue, location, performance, and like staff. So like the Fillmore's in a good location where you can get food beforehand if you arrive early enough, if that fits within your schedule. There's a good amount of stuff to do in downtown Silver Spring. Yeah, it's just a good place to get a quick drink or like get some food to eat before you even like show up to the venue. And like the staff is always super friendly. Yeah, I have nothing really bad to say about like the staff. I always had a good experience. Never really had anything negative to say about it.
Yeah, the amenities are great around the Fillmore for before and after the show. Just having a bunch of stuff to do because that's an important part of the experience.
Absolutely.
How awful or great or seamless parking is and where you can get food and drinks.
And that's what it really comes down to. Like pre-gaming is also like a big ritual for us too. Like especially I definitely miss like arriving to a venue early. It's like rushing out of work and going straight to like the venue just so I have enough time just to get like Chick-fil-A or like a bar, like a drink from down the street. Or some pho.
I don't heavily drink before shows. I used to, like I mentioned at that Lamb of God show, having like 3 cherry bombs or something. I used to heavily drink at shows, but then I just had enough instances of being drunk and in a mosh, just being a very nauseating, overwhelming experience. And so now I just kind of stick to like a beer or two before it. And usually by the time I get through the openers, it's worn off. And then the headliner's like game time.
Yeah. The Fillmore usually hosts like really good shows, it's like big shows too, which I'm usually like really like psyched about because it has like the sound quality to really support the band and really support the fan base too. I think my 7 stands pretty strong for it. Wolves Within, not Within Wolves. Yeah. I remember when they put out that teaser for Anti-Pattern.
Oh, I was obsessed with that.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever heard a teaser before that got me more primed and ready for an album. That was so cool. Just the isolated drum, just building tension.
And then you hear the dun 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 dun, and then you're just like, oh fuck.
Oh, it's gonna be juicy.
Yeah, it was pretty juicy. I like that album a lot. R.I.P. Justin Lowe, awesome guitarist. Definitely looks like a jock, but so good at guitar. Could also be a nerd. That album was really good too. I remember like 2013. So first year at my current job, just bumping that album. I like that
at PRS?
Yeah, PRS. Yeah, I like that one a lot.
All right, so I think we found our next one we were both at that we can set on reviewing, and that would be Summer Slaughter 2015 at Ram's Head Live.
Basically, I can start off telling you right now that Ram's Head is in Baltimore. It's really close to Soundstage. It's also a pretty it's in the Under Harbor, so you're safe. You're safe no matter what. In a area where it is a bar hopping location, essentially. It's called Power Plant. You can get really wasted or even get some grub like from like the outside bars, whatever. I really enjoy that area just because like it's a good way to like pre-game as well before you even go into like Ram's Head.
Yeah, that area around it's really cool, especially because they let you
take your drinks anywhere.
Yeah, I forget what they do. They give you a wristband or something, so they let you kind of bar hop. There's Howl at the Moon, which they kind of play pop covers. They'll take requests. They had parties there. It's a fun time. There's the rock. There's the upstairs. There's the
Angels
rock and
Rock
roll
Bar.
Angels Rock Bar, whatever. Yeah, they'll play like rock and alternative songs, and it's very like goth kind of aesthetic or rock,
quote unquote goth.
Yeah,
I wish it was like way more edgier. I wish it was a lot more edgy than what it ended up to be.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. Drinks are cheap.
And I don't remember the name of it, but there's the one that's in like the glass. It's got like a glass roof and walls, so it's see-through.
I know you're talking
It's insulated. Yeah.
But I forget the name too.
So yeah, it's cool. And also there's that outdoor stage, which I've never seen a performance at.
Ludacris performed there. No.
What?
Nelly performed there actually. And I wanted to go, but I ended up like opting out.
Oh, and there's that club too. I don't remember the name of it.
I don't remember the name of the club either.
We went there for like Oneida's birthday or something.
Yeah. And then I forget what it's called. Mosaic. It's just kind of like your like typical club bar, whatever, just loud music, whatever. There's like literally a place for you to like bar hop anywhere, essentially.
Yeah, it's really cool. Everything's just like right there, easy to walk between places. And then one of the buildings right there is Ram's Head Live. They got a indoor concert venue.
which is super sick. And then what it used to end up being when I was younger, if you get there before the show started, all the drinks would be half off. But then once the show started, all the drinks went up like full price. So like I would always sometimes 100% of the time, no, 60% of the time, 100% of the time, I would always show up early so I can get a little buzz going on with the discounted prices before the prices go up when the show started. So save money in the long run. But I don't think they do that anymore.
Probably not.
No, I mean after COVID, I mean, like whatever.
No, but even just like before it too. I imagine just, I don't know.
Yeah. This is when we saw Corey Feldman too.
That's right.
Yeah. That's a concert that I definitely want to talk about. And I love that we did that for the memes.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one to talk about.
Yeah. So Ram said like holds dear to my heart just because like that's where I saw Periphery. We saw Periphery there like during this tour is personal.
I used to go there a fair amount, but they stopped over time. They gradually had less and less metal shows. And so if I was in the area, I was probably just at Soundstage.
Absolutely.
They really started deviating, just sort of like sticking more towards like rock and like safer bets to pull bigger crowds. And they'd have like those emo nights and stuff where they have like DJs playing, which I've never been to one, but I want to go to one at some point. They seem really fun.
They're very fun.
They play like alternative and emo and like post-hardcore. Yeah.
Millennial shit. But it was fun. I definitely enjoyed it. But all right, anyways, to this concert now.
Yeah, Summer Slaughter 2015.
The bands that were on this tour was Beyond Creation, Cattle Decapitation, After the Burial, Obscura, The Acacia String, Veil of Maya, or as like the Red Chord like to say, Veil of Papaya, Born of Osiris, and Arch Enemy as the headliner. So this was a good show. I enjoyed it a lot. I dipped out early for Arch Enemy just because I know they were going to play in all their newer stuff at the time. And I just really wasn't really that interested. But their getup was also really cool. So I stayed for like a song or two. And then I was like, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I'm going to go home.
I bailed too. Yeah, I wasn't that much of a fan of Arch Enemy anyway.
Their earlier stuff with like Angela Gascow. Like I loved it. I loved it a lot. Michael something. I forget his last name. But good songwriting overall. I enjoyed it. One of the first metal bands that got me into metal too. I don't know exactly why I was there for. Maybe it was for Obscura because they don't come around too often. Like Beyond Creation. I remember seeing Beyond Creation because they were playing like their 8-string Strandbergs. Like their little headless guitars. And like I remember just like thinking I just want one so badly. And then like remember liking their stuff a lot.
Yeah, Beyond Creation's really cool.
Very cool. Really. They're from France, I believe.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And Cattle Decapitation, I also really love them too. Like
yeah, we had mentioned them some at the I think 2013 Summer Slaughter. Yeah, they give pretty solid live performances.
I still can't get over him spitting into the air and like catching it in his throat.
Yeah, it's nasty.
But like I wanted to keep doing it. After the Burial, this is when Justin Lowe was alive. So I already was really into it.
Yeah, After the Burial I think was definitely the chief thing I was there for because they were have been a favorite band of mine, and this would have been the first time I finally got to see them live. So I was real excited about it.
And the Acacia Strain, I remember watching them and I remember was really impressed. Vince was still in his like not quite depression phase. I remember when I was first introduced to the Acacia Strain, it was with my friend Evan, and we were at Sonar in Baltimore. RIP, that venue is no longer in existence. We've never heard of the Acacia Strain. We're just like, oh, like some band, whatever. And then I see this huge circle in the crowd forming, and then me and Evan decided to walk in the middle. We're like, oh yeah, they're probably not that heavy. Whatever. And I was sadly mistaken.
Yeah. What a band to be wrong about. That's funny.
And I think this is 2015, right? So they're definitely playing stuff off of either Death is Only for the Mortal or Wormwood. Definitely off of Continent. Absolutely stuff. They're definitely playing stuff from Continent. But when I went to go see the Acacia Strain for the first time, as soon as they were playing, or at least they started to play, immediately I was separated from my friend Evan, and like,
I bet.
Oh yeah, like I was destroyed in that wall.
Detached right away.
Yeah, we looked at each other. I was like, ah, and then he was like, ah, and then we locked eyes, like, I'll find you later. And then I remembered my first thought was, oh, okay, this was during the Cool Tour. This is when Between the Buried and Me was headlining. I was there for them and As I Lay Dying, I believe. Were they playing the same show at the Cool Tour? I think so. It was a good show. Good concert.
I've had moments like that with Meshuggah where you're just like instantly ripped away from the people that you're with.
It's
the
like
crowd
goodbye.
just goes 0 to 100. Obscura and Beyond Creation, they're both really respected, great tech death groups.
Virtuosos.
Yeah. And plus virtuosity. There's a really difficult balance to achieve of technicality, but not going to the point of just like obnoxious swankery for the sake of it. And I feel like Beyond Creation, Obscura still are really talented with songwriting and still just making things heavy and catchy and pretty accessible.
Yeah.
And Obscura has like a bit of an atmosphere too.
Mm-hmm. The guitarist, I forget his name, but he was also ex-Necrophagist.
Oh, okay.
And originally they formed, it was ex-Necrophagist drummer and ex-Necrophagist guitarist. I forget his name. You guys can research it. I don't care enough right now.
We're good content creators. You do the research. I don't know.
But I know that for a fact. Super tech death. Coming from a great band like Necrophagist, like you already have high expectations from them. And then he was also in this band called Spawn of Possession, which also was one of my favorites.
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah, I love them.
Oh man, that album
Incurso.
yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. Absolutely love that album. I jammed to that every once in a while. It's just like,
It's really cool.
so cool. It's atmospheric. But yeah, I think overall, I think I would give this concert like a solid 7 as well, just because each band is like, they're all very strong, but Arch Enemy kind of weighs it down a little bit. Actually, maybe 7.5.
Yeah.
I think a 7.5 actually.
Death is the Only Mortal was the album that really got me into Acacia Strain.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which weirdly enough, that's
weird.
Not,
I didn't think that was a good album.
not a favorite of theirs. I liked it enough. I was into it. And then from there, I listened to their other albums. I have a track record of my entry point to a lot of bands being the least favorites or most contentious albums. I don't know what it is. Just like somehow I always get into those. After the Burial, In Dreams, or not even contentious or bad, but just sort of like forgettable ones or stuff. Like there's so many albums where people are like, that's how you got into them. So I don't know. It's only up from there. If you can get into them with their lesser tier stuff, then you just have a whole catalog of better stuff.
I mean, you're right.
So yeah, it only gets better.
Like what got me into the Acacia Strain was Wormwood.
Yeah.
Wormwood.
I think that was like the next one I listened to.
Wormwood was like definitely the album, especially with like the opening track Beast. I was just like, this album is just morbid and I love it. I want more. Give me more.
Obscene.
It was also my introduction to like hardcore, like good hardcore too. Eventually I went down this path of like Gideon, and then I never really got into the the Ghost Within or whatever.
Oh yeah, I never really got into them either.
But like, I mean, I listened to them, respected them, whatever. But I never really got into like any other hardcore from there. But then, Acacia Strain just straight up evolved as the years went on. You're a fantastic band.
Every so often, I'll have a brief stint and get into hardcore, like Knocked Loose or
I love Knocked
Jesus Piece or
Jesus Piece is frightening.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Knocked Loose, Jesus Piece, Nails. They probably qualify with that. Mouth Breather. I don't know. There's some obnoxiously heavy hardcore bands out there. Vane, like we mentioned earlier.
I love Vane too.
Veil of Maya, I don't really remember. Of the like Sumerian core bands,
Is that during Punisher?
That it might have been, yeah.
That's an album that's not really that talked about.
Yeah. Veil of Maya, like in the realm of Sumerian core, isn't really one of my favorites, but they did kind of overtake for me Born of Osiris once Matriarch came out, and they got the new vocalist and they started doing clean vocals. And from that point on, and then like I said earlier, Born of Osiris just kind of getting stale for me. So they kind of swapped places.
Oh, gonna retract all the way to the beginning. They came out with a new song called Viscera, which is really sick.
I don't think I checked it out.
It's really cool. I enjoyed that one a lot. Like the music video is animated, so it kind of like threw me off for a bit, but I still really liked it. It's still very Mark Okobu or Okobu, however you want to say his name.
Yeah.
Oh, New Monuments comes out on the 26th of March, 2021. By the time you hear this, it'll already be out.
Yeah, I wish we could have been able to listen to it and talk about it now.
Yeah, but I guess we can talk about it in the next episode.
Yeah, I guess my rating for this one would be a 7 as well. Of just like wasn't like blown away enough to be an 8, but just like solid performances all around.
Yeah.
You know, I saw what I wanted to see I was there for Beyond Creation, After the Burial, and Obscura, and I wasn't disappointed. Then all the other bands I liked. And then just, dipped for our checkout and got to get home at a decent time.
I think what we could also say, I think this is since it became a hobby to us, we started around this time, we started going to concerts more often. We start like expecting a higher tier performance, or like, I wouldn't even say a higher tier performance, but we expected to get what we wanted out of it, and then we got it.
Yeah, I think this might be the period of where, I started going to concerts more regularly.
I agree with that.
And I feel like probably most concerts I go to, I'd probably rate a 7. I'm just like, yeah, this is what I wanted. And then the real favorite bands get into the like 8 to 10 territory.
That's true. Until we find those hidden gems where like the opener really blew us away.
Yeah. And then you get some shows that's like the show is amazing and the experience was amazing. There's some great story behind it too.
Yeah. I mean, I overall give these 2 concerts that we've been to 7 and a 7.5. So the Summer Slaughter tour is always a really solid tour if you want to like get a good mix of technical bands, and then on top of that, just like progressive bands as well as the years go on.
They're fun. I like them because there's not too many metal fests I get to go to. I mean, if I've contemplated it sometimes, like taking vacations, because I know there's some festivals in like North Carolina and some other states, but I'm just not as willing to travel for them or take the time off. But so yeah, just sticking to the area. Well, I used to go to Mayhem Fest in Bristow, Virginia, but the lineups over the years I just wasn't as into, and then they just eventually just outright canceled them because of I guess lower turnout. And then Warped Tour, it went away too. So Summer Slaughter is kind of like the last
Summer's Laughter.
Yeah, the last option for a sort of day fest, all day thing of just back to back bands performing with metal. I was looking forward to a COVID show that was canceled. I bought tickets for it and had a friend I was going to go with, and we reserved a hotel. It was a metal and beer fest.
That sounds awesome.
In Philadelphia. Oh. And one of the headliners was Converge.
Oh.
It was like an all-day metal thing. It was like metalcore and hardcore stuff, and I was looking forward to that.
That sounds awesome. I'd go to that.
It was a 2-day festival, and I think one day I didn't care at all, and the other had Converge, and that's what I was there for.
Well,
so yeah, this is fun. I have no idea how long we were talking.
Probably talked a while.
Logic Pro like failed out on us halfway through, so I don't know if. And we blazed through topics. I don't know if we've been talking for a long time or not. I don't know.
I think we've been talking for a good amount.
I just got in the zone and had fun with it.
Same. So anyways, my name is Walter.
I'm Brent. Thanks for listening.
And have an excellent evening or day, whenever time you're listening at this.
I love you.
I love you too.
Goodbye.
I love you.
I love you.